Hello everyone, welcome to another day of V's Vibes. For those of you who celebrate the holidays, happy holidays to you. For those of you who don't, happy good day to you. Okay, before I get started with today's sharing, I invite you to peek into my journey stories. I have a question. What y'all think about these? My uncle gave them to me a while back, but I still have them. I think it was a very special thought that, he thought about me and gave them to me. Now be honest. Y'all think these too big for my body? Let me know. Okay, let's get serious. Today's topic is on how I stopped getting UTIs. That's urinary tract infections that a lot of women suffer with. Most women suffer with. Well, I didn't know that what I was eating was causing my suffrage. I was always a conscious person as far as eating, health conscious, but I wasn't educated on how much food played an impact on your health. So, when I became a young wife and mother, I started developing a lot of UTIs. And I said to myself, you eat healthy. So I thought, I don't smoke or drink or, do anything that is supposed to be harmful to your body knowingly. But, boy, was I wrong. Because my body's constantly telling me something's wrong. I'm saying I know something's wrong, but I don't know what it is. And so it said, it's what you're eating. I said, I know it's what I'm eating, but I don't know. I can't put my finger on what it is. And each time it's showing me what's wrong, I'm ignoring it. Always ignoring it. So, how did my body make me aware? First, it put my body into, or it put me into this harmony. So, meaning that it pinpointed the area that I was feeling and experiencing the discomfort. It showed me when I went to the bathroom, I would have a burning sensation. I saw a discharge, and it had an unpleasant odor. So, my five senses, or however many we may have, were working fine. I just weren't in tune with them, and I thought I was. So, I became aware. I became aware of what I was feeling. I was shown it, and I smelled it. It seemed like the five senses were working well to me. But like I said, I wasn't connected to them fully in consciousness. So what I realized was each time I had an infection, how did I respond to my body each time I had an infection? Without knowing, I was arrogantly telling it, you don't know what you're talking about. Even though it's showing me, giving me all the signs over and over again, I'm telling it, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I was arrogant. I was a few other adjectives too, but we gonna just talk about one right now. And I want to share with you what arrogant, the definition of it in the American Heritage Dictionary of the English language. And it says ignorant, an adjective, without education or knowledge, inhibiting lack of knowledge, unaware, or uninformed. Now that's the American Heritage Dictionary of the English language. So I said, well, let me go to another dictionary. So I went to Webster's Universal Dictionary and thesaurus. And ignorant also means arrogant. Arrogant is an adjective. Well, it doesn't mean arrogance. It's ignorant. But see, that slipped out because I think I was arrogant too. As a matter of fact, I don't think I know I was arrogant. But like I said, we're going to stick to only ignorant right here. Being ignorant. So ignorant, adjective, lacking knowledge, uninformed, uneducated, resulting from or showing lack of knowledge. And that's what I was doing. My body was telling me, it was speaking to me in a language that it knows how to, but I wasn't paying attention. I kept eating these same things. Even though I was trying to figure out and pinpoint what it was, I just kept doing it. Went to the doctors, they would give me penicillin or ampicillin, and never said once to me that, well, you know what, it could be what you're eating. Now they did say, if you take penicillin, don't eat dairy. They didn't explain why, but this is what was happening. So, I was always a child interested in health. My mother used to call me a very finicky eater. Because as a child, I didn't like meat. I didn't like eggs. I didn't like milk. I didn't like peanut butter and jelly. If I ate ice cream, it had to have something in it like cherries or nuts. I didn't like plain milk. I didn't like the taste of it. I didn't like the taste of eggs. It made me feel like I was going to throw up. That's how it tasted to me. And I don't know why I didn't like peanuts. But as I grew into adulthood and started experiencing these things with my body, I come find out that most of these things were related to those particular foods. But I got another story on that too. We're going to be talking about UTIs on this one. This is what we'll focus on in this particular video. So, when I began to look at the foods that I was eating, I loved hot foods. And I loved, whenever I would have my menstrual cycle, most women we start craving salts and sweets. So I remember I loved pickles and hot sauce, and I would eat ketchup with my fries. I loved mustard. I like chocolate. Now, even though I didn't eat a lot of sweets. I mean, at one point in my life, I did start craving sweets because I was going through a period to where I was craving sweets. But this particular time when I started looking at my body and started not being ignorant and informing myself by learning and looking, the foods that I named: ketchup, mustard, hot sauce, chocolate or candies, they all had one thing in common, one common ingredient, or two common ingredients, and that was sugar and vinegar. Yeah, sugar and vinegar. So I began experimenting on myself by, you know, trying these things, like leaving them out of my food. Like, I love vinegar. I would eat vinegar too. Put it on my collard greens or my greens or my cabbage. Not understanding that I was throwing my body in disharmony. Yeah, I was doing it. Ignorant. You say, well, that was common sense. Some people say that's common sense. Well, common sense ain't so common to folks. And I learned that that's also a form of ignorance. To think common sense is common to everyone. I learned that. That's another story. I had to learn. So once I started to pick apart my diet, or pick apart the condiments, rather, of what I was eating, I discovered that that was the cause of my UTIs. Because us ladies, we have a natural yeast in our um, reproductive system. We have a natural yeast that keeps the balance of flora in our body. So what was happening was, when you bake bread, what do you use to make bread rise? Normally you would use sugar. And sugar wreaks havoc on your natural flora, the natural bacteria, the natural yeast in your body. It's a good thing. Yeast is a good thing. But when it's overflowing, it causes a disharmony within your body. So once I discovered and removed these foods, sugar and vinegar in particular, that was the day that I no longer suffered with yeast infections. Hey everybody, I'm back. Sorry about that. My camera needed some energy, so it just shut off. But it did cut off at a good point. So yeah, that's part of my story. Once I learned what was causing those particular problems for me, I haven't suffered with a yeast infection since, and this has been over 20 years. So this is my story. Everyone's story is different. Everyone's body is different. And find out what's your story. Find out what's going on with your body. I would love it if I've helped someone with this who was going through this or is going through this. And this is before I knew anything about alkaline versus acid foods. I didn't know any of those things. I just knew what I had to do to help me. I took the responsibility of listening and to my body, and then going into action, doing some research, testing myself, you know. And even though I love those foods, I don't miss the infections. Because UTIs can also travel to your kidneys, and I would get kidney infections too. So I no longer get either of those two, and I'm thankful. Do I want to go back to that? No, I don't. So I thank you for coming and joining me as I shared a peek into my journey stories. And thank you again for joining in these vibes. Let me know what you think. And if you would have a topic you would like me to discuss. And I will, if I'm not ignorant. Enjoy the rest of your day and your holidays season.